Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Elizabeth and this is Mr. Kumi, Mr. Kiminem. Say hi to the...
Hi everybody.
And this is my beloved husband. Say hi.
Hi, God bless you. That's pastoral greeting. God bless you.
So welcome back. My name is Elizabeth, like I said. And so today we have an interesting topic. It's about how do you build your relationship with God and maintain your relationship with God even when things are busy. Life gets busy sometimes. So they're going to discuss how they've been able to do this. Mr. Kumi works in Lagos with eating and he has a very good job and he has been able to balance things. Mr. Show here has a job. He's a student at the seminary and also maintains his family as well. So they're going to share their experience with us. Over to you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so over to Mrs. Show.
Okay, Mr. Show, go ahead.
All right. Guys, we just want to discuss something this important. We've discovered that to build a relationship with God, I believe is something you have to be conscious about. It's something you just have to plan to do. You have to put it in your plan. Even if you're not busy, there's a way devil makes us feel busy. Probably it has happened to you before. 2 times I've had to delete the Twitter app on my phone because I discovered that you spend hours on Twitter and before you know it, time is gone. You've not prayed, you've not read your Bible and all of that. So that's the reason why we're discussing this thing. It takes a conscious effort for you to do this, and Kumi and I will be discussing about what we've been doing, what he's been doing, what I've been doing, and what has worked for us thus far as we learn and continue to grow in the grace of God. We all know Lagos is a busy place. Kumi lives in Lagos. Kumi works in Lagos. Kumi is Lagos.
I grew up in Lagos.
Yeah, Kumi is Lagos, and he's been doing this. So let's start with Kumi. What have you been doing? How have you built?
Why do you want to start with me, really?
Because this is Canada. It's not so busy in Canada. Other than I get busy myself.
Yeah.
I am a full-time student in the seminary, and it can really get busy in the seminary. The danger of being a seminary student is almost all your assignment has to do with Bible. And when your assignment has to do with Bible, you just assume that yes. Some people have even said that their seminary could be a cemetery. That's what they call it sometimes, where you die spiritually without knowing. Because you're around the Bible, you're around Christians, and you really think you're building yourself, but all you're just doing is assignments and writing.
Yeah, and every day you're getting to turn the pages of the Bible. I mean, I remember someone also said something about well, this is a bit controversial, but I mean, someone said that, in order for you, we have already jumped into the topic.
Yes, we have.
Okay, I'd like us to actually do an introduction, like what's a relationship, and so I can come back to my points later. I mean, what I wanted to talk about, how we can easily get distracted. But I feel like it's always better to start off with the basics. So, what's a relationship? I mean, from my understanding, I think that human beings, we are wired for relationship. It's in our DNA. It's something that unconsciously we gravitate towards.
Yeah.
So the question is not whether we are involved in relationship or we get into relationship. Is what kind of relationship do we get into, and what should be our priority? When you're looking at the sort of relationship you want to have right there. Yeah. And of course, the reason why we're talking about it is because God is the ultimate. So if we want to have any kind of relationship, we should be thinking about also our relationship with God. So for me, I think that relationship is important. It's like what we are meant to do. It's what we are wired for. Whether you're in a relationship with friends, family, or even where you work, you form some kind of relationship with people. Yeah. And those relationships, they can either make or mar you. They can make you a better person, and they can also unfortunately affect your life in a negative way. So, but of course, when we have a relationship with God, it's obvious that our life can only get better, and that's why this is an important discussion. How do you manage such? How can you create that balance amidst of all the other things that are demanding for your time? You also want to be able to create that moment for your creator. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me probably just add this to this relationship thing you spoke about. I can't remember who came up with this, but maybe theologians or whatever they call them, they've come to conclusion that human beings are relational beings.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not relating with others, we're not living.
Mm-hmm.
We're not meant to live in isolation, kind
Definitely.
of. So we're relational beings. And for us as believers as well, or for intending believers, our God is also a relational God. Right from the beginning, from Genesis, we saw that God said, "Let us make man in our own image." There have been a lot of theological debate about that house. We're not going there now. But the fact remains that it's a relational God. It could be God communicating within the Trinity themselves. But we saw relationship in heaven between the Trinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
God communicating within themselves. And we also saw in Genesis that God will come down in the cool of the evening to talk, relate with Adam and Eve and all that. So we saw God as a relational being. From time to time, coming to the New Testament, we saw Jesus, especially if you read the Gospel of Luke, always talking to the Father. You know, this is one of the challenges I've seen, especially in this topic we're talking about. There was a particular passage where Jesus was busy all day, healing the sick and doing all that. And very early in the morning, he rose up to go and speak with the Father, to go and pray. I remember that passage very well because in the morning when they were looking for him, Peter looked for him and Peter saw him and Peter was like, everyone was looking for you. The whole town they're waiting. Let's start again the next day and all that. But being a relational being, he had spoken with the Father and all that. In his busy schedule, as Jesus was really busy in his time on earth. He had to heal the sick, teach the disciples,
about
doing good, and he was very busy. But yet, and he was God himself, right? But yet, he still found he was able to set out time to have that relationship with the Father. He didn't just say, "I've known everything. I know the mind of the Father," but he still had time.
So, in other words, if Jesus, needed to have a relationship
we
with
need
the
it
Father,
too.
we definitely need it.
We
And he
need it.
says, "Greater works than these you would do." So, how would you do the greater works
If you don't have time for the Father,
if you
right?
don't know the source, the source of the power that you would need for all of that? Yeah. So,
Now, the first thing I would say here is, you need
I've got no
to.
legs. Let me try my justice legs.
You need to be conscious about it. I have come to realize that whatever you are conscious about or conscious of, whatever you English guys say now, you find time for it. You create time for it. You need to hunger and thirst for it, for that time that you want to spend with God. You need to plan it into your day. Sometimes, it gets really busy. You want to go out early in the morning. Let me use my experience as an example. My first semester in school and my second semester, let's say my first year basically, I discovered that there are many days that I have to complete an assignment, whether reading assignment or to work on a paper, up till early in the morning, the early hours of the day, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 1 a.m. and all that. And definitely maybe I just got back from work like 7 or 8. I will have my dinner and then get at it, and I won't finish until 2 or 3. And of course, by the time you check the time, there's no time again. You want to go to bed so that I can wake up and still be fresh for class tomorrow. But I discovered myself that if I keep this going like this, it's just going to be like that. There's not going to be time. And before you know it, you just think, it's gone. Time is gone. Everything is gone. So I decided that no matter how long it's going to take after my assignment, I became conscious of the fact that this is important and is necessary in my life. So the first thing I want you to see is you need to be conscious of it. You need to make plans for it. You need to know. You need to come to that realization that this is not just one of the things I have to do.
We shouldn't just
This
suddenly
is
remember
exactly
that.
Exactly.
We are meant to do
No
our
matter
devotion.
how busy you are, except you are fasting, at least you will eat once a day. You can't say, I was so busy today that I didn't even eat throughout. It's not possible. No matter how busy you are, you will drink something in a day. You can't say, oh, I was so busy. So if you see it as, it's like thirst. You know, Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone.
That's right.
Bread is important. I always tell people, Jesus is not saying don't eat. Jesus is saying, but bread alone will not sustain you, right? So if you see it as something you need to survive, relationship with God, then you're going to have to put that effort in it by setting out time. For you, it could be early in the morning, it could be late in the night. It depends on the kind of person you are, and it depends on your schedule. If you live in Lagos and you have to go to work very early,
talk about Lagos.
you will talk about Lagos anyway. Don't let me talk about Lagos. If you live in Canada or any developed country where you probably have to work late in the night, or you have to work all through the night into the morning. I know I have a friend. Yeah, I have a friend that I don't know the time she works, but I know she works in the evening. There's this Bible app that we use, YouVersion.
Yeah, I have it.
She's always there around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. That's when you see her.
So you can see if someone is online.
No, yeah, because she makes her verses or she completes her plan
yeah,
every day around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or thereabouts. That's when you know that she's probably just finished reading. And I later discovered that I think she works all through the night. And she just feels, okay, when I finish working, why can't I just pray before I go to bed or before I get to something else? So that's what is working for her. But the most important thing is she's keeping that relationship. So you, Lagos man, want to say something?
Yeah, for me, I think that just like you said, it's important to be conscious of it and to go all out, deliberate, about creating that time. From my experience, where I've lived most of my life in Lagos, it's a challenging place. A lot of people have to leave home very early, and then come back late at night. But that notwithstanding, you've got to have the consciousness in you that you need to do this. So what I do really is that I have even during the day, because we are talking about relationships, so you don't actually
just put time.
Yes, you don't.
I was going to come down.
You don't set aside one hour somewhere and say this is God's time, and that's it. And every other time of the day you are. You're on your own or you're doing whatever you like.
Yes.
So it's even that consciousness you should carry throughout the day. So there's this thing I do on my phone where in the Bible they talk about hours, like they talk about the third hour of the day, the sixth hour and stuff like that. So I have an alarm for 9, I have a for 12, for 3, for 6, and the whole idea is when I even on all these apps where smart watches and all of that, there's this thing that's always prompting you to go and drink water or take a walk, all of that, because they just want to build an habit into you, so that you know it's important to drink water, to stretch your legs a bit. So same thing, that's what I use those alarms for, so to build an habit of always remembering that you're a spiritual being and you need to be connected with the Father. So every now and then you have that consciousness. Sometimes I take out some time to just praise, basically, just give thanks and all of that. Not everybody will have that kind of moment or opportunity, but the point is that let it be in your consciousness throughout the day, so that at the time you want to retire at night, and when you're ready to maybe do some kind of praying or studying the Word of God, you won't find it difficult. But imagine it's the same.
You've spent all your day by yourself.
Yes. You are not depositing anything. I learned this thing from Pastor Sam when he talks about if you're married and you need to deposit into the emotional bank account of your spouse, so you don't just get home at night and expecting to have money. Like you got to be depositing something every now and then, so that so for me that's how I cope up. I go about
that's very important. I'll still link it. I was going to come back to that initially, and since you mentioned it, I will link it to what Jesus said. Jesus said, whatever you see me do is what my Father is doing, right? Which means it's not just about the time you set apart to pray or to talk to the Father. he was always in communion with the Father.
Yeah.
At Lazarus' tomb, he said, Father, thank you for
always
so
being
it's a continuous thing.
Yeah.
And what I would encourage you, if you've not heard about it, The Practice of God's Presence by Brother Lawrence is a very popular book.
Please, brother.
Brother Lawrence actually is a Catholic, not even a reverend father. He was working in the kitchen of.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard that story.
It's one of the best books you can ever read.
It
wasn't supposed to be a book.
Yeah.
But they discovered that this brother, he was working in the kitchen and he practiced God's presence. You know, I did a devotion on it when we started this year, at the beginning of this year, and one of the things he mentioned was when you're about to start a task, why don't you commit that task to God? As small as when you're about to drive a car, like, oh Lord, we just want to drive a car, we just want to do it to the glory of your holy name. And when you get to your work and you're about to start, you know,
that's practicing the
practicing the presence. So you just know God is with you, and if you connect from there, it won't be bad, or you know, that relationship, you begin to build it.
You're building it.
You start small. And I always want to tell this to people. Don't condemn yourself when you're struggling or when you fall. Because oftentimes when you be like, I've not done this, I've not done that, you be like, no, I really missed the Lord. No. And then devil makes you feel guilty, brings that guilt and that condemnation to you, and you draw farther and farther away from the Father.
I have a punchline, you know, in respect to what you just said now. Someone said that the only solution to a break in fellowship is more fellowship.
That's it.
More fellowship.
That's it.
Go deeper. Press in even deeper and all of that.
That is it. So don't feel bad if you feel, oh, I've not had this in a long time, or I've not done this. The best time to start is right now. Is right now. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can take a moment and just start relating with God from that. The good thing about how God is not until you get into your closet that He hears you. He's right where you are. He sees what you're doing, and that's one thing I learned from that Brother Lawrence, practicing God's presence. You can do it anywhere and anytime, and then you can then set out time, maybe in the morning or in the evening, to do this. As we finish this, because Madam is asking us to put an end to this, I want us to. Why is it important to build a relationship with the Father? Because we've talked about building a relationship. We've talked about how to do all these things and all that. But why is it important? Why should I build a relationship with the Father?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've touched on it already, because we've already mentioned how important relationship is to human beings. Yeah. And then when you think about why do we often go into relationships, because of the benefit. So if you think about a relationship with God, the one who made you, you can think about all the things, that all the possibilities. It's just like when a father and a son is discussing, there are no holds back. There's a lot of information sharing, there's a lot of knowledge being passed down from the father to the son, and these are learning moments for that child that he won't forget. Like, he's going to remember that these are the things that my father taught me. And we've had a lot of references like that in the Bible, where people will say, these were the things my dad taught me, and that sustained me, has carried me up to this point I find myself. So it's an important part of our life, where we know that God is ultimate, and I mean, he has a better understanding of who we are. We don't even understand ourselves enough. You know, it's the same way a father can point out to a child and say, I know, because he or the mother, they know when this child was giving birth to. They understood the child when the child was just, all he could do was just cry. He wants to eat, he will cry. If he wants to do anything, it's just cry. And all. So they understand. Same thing with God. He understands us even more than we do. So it's important that we draw closer to Him and have that kind of relationship.
All right, thank you very much, Kumi. As we close this, let me just add this.
Yeah, because
can you just imagine the creator of heaven and earth wants to build a relationship with you? Imagine the president of the United States, Joseph Biden.
Joseph R. Biden.
Yes. Calling you and saying that I would love to have a relationship with you. Let's be friends. Or, you know, leaders, any leader of the world, of one of the world top countries, calling you. you'll probably be dancing. I saw a few days ago, the video was online about Biden calling a Nigerian girl
Yes,
and
I
all
saw
that.
it
And
from-
the video
from
was
Oyo
everywhere,
State,
right?
yeah.
Everybody was jumping around like, wow, it's the same way. Now imagine the creator of heaven and earth saying, I want a relationship with you. What would you not give to have that relationship?
Fantastic.
And he has nothing to lose. He's not having a relationship with you because he's bored. He's not having a relationship because he's lonely. But he's having a relationship with you because he loves you.
Wow.
What more do you want?
Wow.
That's the best thing.
Wow.
So if you don't have that love right now, I think God is stretching his hands and he's saying, I love you. I love you and I want to have a relationship with you.
Amazing.
It's for your benefit and it's for my benefit. God is waiting for you. Thank you. Don't make jest of us because of our Liverpool.
Thank you so much, guys.
So
Thank
much.
you so much.
We're fumbling right now, but
Even when things are hard, we have a relationship with Liverpool.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. I'm sure you've been blessed. I've been blessed listening to them. Thank you so much. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Peace out.